Very special guest in the building with us. He goes by the name of Bashir Mohamed. He is a mindset coach and he's here to talk to us about something very, very important. We're talking about understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. Understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. I saw you got here really early, which is a great thing.
It was the rain.
Yes. You gave yourself enough time to get here, yeah? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you being here and being willing to have this conversation with us. I think I even remember you called in at
Yes,
one point.
I did.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
January?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that it was in January.
Because I remember looking at the name on the system,
Right.
and then seeing your name, and I'm like, this has to be the same person because the knowledge that you gave then was incredible.
Yeah. We're talking about masculinity then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes,
Thank you for making time.
So-
You're welcome, you're welcome.
So I guess for those that don't know you, allow us to give you the space to introduce yourself. Please tell us about yourself, who you are, and just give us an intro into who you are.
Well, thank you again for having me. I go by the name of Bashir Mohamed. Originally Somali. Never been to Somalia.
All right.
Born
By
in
blood?
by blood.
Yes.
Born in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And then I moved out of Zimbabwe when I was 14. Then went to the UAE, where I was there for about 5 years. And then another 3 years in the UK. And then 12 years in Malaysia.
Wow.
And now 8 years here in Kenya.
You're really Wow. globetrotting.
So
Yeah.
it's very hard to say where I'm from. I just tell people I'm from the UN.
Right. Yeah. That's brilliant. I love that. So you're very much a global citizen.
Well, kind of.
Right.
Right. Globetrotters.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like it. So I guess for those that don't know what a mindset coach is,
Yes.
can you give us a bit of an introduction into what that is and what that really entails?
Well, it has nothing to do with what I studied. Let me put that out there.
Right.
But it was more of a passion of
Right.
mine, understanding gender roles and what kind of mindset was required for that. Of course, I did a lot of experimental analysis and surveys and whatnots. Of course, my own personal experience will count for that as well. Again, seeing and experiencing what the social norms are nowadays kind of drove me to understand where and how to solve a lot of these problems
Right.
that we do have when it came to gender. I call it cohabitation.
Right. Right.
And it did bother me a lot.
Right.
Seeing where the new generation and the upcoming generation's mindset were.
Right.
As compared to our forefathers and their grandfathers. And it's all about now going back to the drawing board
Right.
and coming back to basics
Right.
and trying to understand that it's not as complicated as we make it to be.
Right. So in many ways, you think we've kind of overcomplicated the process.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
I see.
For someone who just joined in and they're wondering, what are these gender roles we're talking about?
Yeah.
Would you highlight the undifferentiated or the differentiated gender roles that we have in our relationships or
Yes.
in our society?
All right. Well, let me start by talking about the nature of these genders.
Okay.
All right. So we have a clear understanding. And I'd like to go on record to stop this gender war from now on.
Ah,
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes. There's a lot of gender wars going on.
Right.
And
Not
it's
necessary.
making me frustrated. And it's because of lack of understanding.
Right. Right.
And I always believe if we have an understanding, then we won't have to have any of these gender wars. And then we'll actually be able to communicate naturally to each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's start by first saying that I do believe, and this is based on not hearsay but actual facts, that both genders were created equally, but we are not the same.
Okay.
And we need to understand where that comes from. Now, if I was to hypothetically say that men had 100 strengths, then women also have 100 strengths. If men had 100 weaknesses, then women also have 100 weaknesses, but these strengths and weaknesses are not the same.
Yes.
I'll give you a simple example. A strength of a woman would be in her sense of smell.
Ah, right. Okay.
Now, biologically, she was created with a higher sense of smell than men. And if you try to figure out perfume, for example, you'll come to realize that perfume for women is more stronger than
That's
those of men.
true.
That's
Yes.
very true. Yeah.
Not for women,
Yeah.
but for men
Yes.
to smell it.
Smell.
Oh,
Yes.
I see the correlation
Yes.
now.
See that?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Now,
It feels very primal in many ways.
exactly.
Yes, yes.
And that's why men's perfume is lighter, because women already can smell it.
Yes.
Right.
Even when men can't even smell their own perfume.
Right.
Now, this is a strength of a woman. A strength of a man, for example, would be his tolerance of his skin. It's about 6 to 7 times more tolerant than that of a female. That's why you never put a hand on a woman.
It's true.
It's because of that nature. Now, her eyes, for example, we have equal eyes. The difference is we use them differently.
Right.
Now, men, we have what we call a vertical visual capability, for example, where we'd be able to focus what's straight ahead of us. And as of women, they have what they call an arctic
Yes.
visual capability.
Yes.
Right.
And that's why you always catch a woman looking at you
Yes.
without even looking at you, because
Yes.
she was already looking at you.
And I saw you looking at something else.
Exactly.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
just need to understand that.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
same eyes, different capabilities.
Right.
And that's just the physical part of it. You know, if we go to the non-physical part, there's many. Emotion, for example.
Right.
We both have emotion, but we use them differently. Now, women's type of emotion is expressed verbally.
Right.
This is the one thing we need to understand.
Yeah.
They express their emotions verbally. The words "I love you" and "I miss you" never came from a man. It came from a woman.
Right.
Men, we'd also have emotions. But how do we use them? We express them through actions.
I see. That's
Not
very
verbally.
true. Yes. Yes.
Now, when you see a man who says, "I love you too, baby,"
Yeah. It's because we've been conditioned almost.
that's different roles now.
Yes.
You're
yes.
moving to our side.
You see what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
we're switching roles.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, it's not that they don't want us to. You see, a woman knows when you love them.
Yes.
Because they'll
Yeah.
see it from your actions.
Yeah.
We don't have to express it verbally. They'll see it.
Yes.
But when we say it, we're trying to impress them, and they always say
And they
that-
can catch on it.
Absolutely. The best way to impress a woman is never to impress in the first place.
Just act on it.
I
Be
see.
yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. That makes a lot of sense. So I guess when we think about, in fact, before we actually really get deeply into this, I'd like to hear from you how you actually define gender roles, because
Yeah.
I think you've given us a good contextual foundation. But how do you actually define gender roles?
Well, for me, of course, you'll have a lot of information nowadays in social media and technology and Google and whatnot. But for me, I have a very natural definition when it comes to gender roles. It's basically you playing your part as your sex. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you approach things naturally. That is your natural role as your sex.
Right.
Now, of course, we all know as a man, there's a certain way that men dress. That's your role, your natural role to dress as a man. There's a certain way to react or to act as a man, as opposed to that of a woman. And not to say it's about inferiority or superiority. There is nothing about superiority or inferiority here. It is knowing your position
Right.
in society, knowing your natural role that you need to be playing. And when you understand that, then it's you actually remove a lot of the challenges that nowadays people face when communicating to the opposite sex. Because as a man, we need to understand that we are proactive by nature. And that women are reactive by nature.
Right. So men are proactive, women are reactive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we're always pointing the finger. Today's I'm going to try and stop this issue of gender wars. And especially I'm going to side with the women today.
Yeah.
It's because we need to stop blaming women for their reaction, because their reaction is a reflection of the man's actions.
I see.
You want to claim to be a leader.
Yeah.
You want to claim to be a leader. And that's one of the most important roles in a man is leadership.
Yeah.
But people don't understand what
Yeah.
leadership is.
Yes.
Till today. Your career doesn't mean you're a leader. Your career teaches you how to earn a living. Leadership teaches you how to live. There's a difference.
Yeah. I want you to hold that thought for 1 second, because we do have to go on a break and I want to hear a lot more of this. But if you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are seated somewhere comfortable, because we have an amazing show for you. And you've clearly just gotten a sneak peek into what is to come for the next 2 hours of the Adults in the Room. So do me a favor, jump on our social media handles at SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you have a question for our guest, make sure that you send it through and we'll be sure to sample your views as the show goes on. But the conversation we're having today is understanding gender roles in relationships. That is what we are talking about. But in the meantime, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back in just a second. We are the Adults in the Room. Period of talking about women and men, we have a very special guest in the building that goes by the name of Bashir Mohamed, who is a mindset coach who's here to talk to us about understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. So if you are just joining us and you've been wondering, how is it that men and women can't seem to get along? We need you, but what's the saying? We can't live with you, but we can't live without you. You know, we're gonna decipher this concept called gender roles and how they actually affect relationships. Now, before we went on the break, Karigo, you said you wanted to ask our guest a question.
Yes. I wanted to, okay, this is something that I've constantly thought about when we think of gender roles. And, you know, because you're the coach, you will give me more insight. What are some of the traditional gender roles that are still being practiced today in 2022 that are completely unacceptable, in your opinion?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yes.
You see, a lot of people try to differentiate different types of gender roles, but there's only one natural type of gender role, and that's the one that we were created with. So a lot of people want to come up with different names: egalitarian, transitional,
modern, traditional.
modern. I don't know what it's called. From the day that Adam was created, there was a role specified for that gender. And the day Eve was created, same thing.
Yeah.
So it never changed. People changed. Environments changed.
Right.
Situations changed. And that's when the roles started to change.
Right.
In 2022, unfortunately, in this day and era, and I might get a lot of clout for this.
It's okay. we are ready.
Yes.
Well, let's get it ready then.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes.
Roles have been reversed.
Okay.
You are going to find a lot of men playing female roles.
Yes.
And a lot of female forced to be playing male roles.
So it's not that they want to?
It's not that they want to. The situation has forced them to.
Right. So I guess how do we balance that out with, let's say, some people who believe, who might say, let's say I'm a woman. Me as a woman, I know that I can make my own money. I know that I can go out there and build my business and I can be an independent woman. Do you believe that there is a balance between being able to still do all those things in the modern age while still maybe honoring the roles that are assigned to us as men and women?
Absolutely. There is no shame in any woman wanting to advance her career. That should not be a sign for a man to actually be or feel inferior to a woman.
Right.
Actually, for me, the more she advances her career, the better for me, in my sense.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. It's because I'm secure in my own self. There's an issue. There's a differentiation that people need to make. Like I said earlier, your career does not define your character.
Right.
It is just an avenue for you to earn your living. It doesn't define who you are. Now, you're going to get money and build up your businesses, as a lot of people think today, that is who I am. Then they need a reintroduction in terms of what's natural.
Right.
All right? Because I believe that a man should be secure in himself.
Yeah.
There are types of personalities that, I'll give an example. When it comes to attraction, a lot of people ask me, Bashir, how do these both sexes get attracted to each other?
Right.
And I always say, listen, you don't have to explain to a man what he's attracted to, because we are men. We already know. It's something physical. It's what we can see and touch. But the problem is that's not the problem. The problem is most men do not know what they have to do to be attractive to a woman.
Ah, I see. So they know what
Yes.
they want, but
They
they
know
don't know
what they
what they
want.
have to do.
But they don't know what they have to do to be attractive to a woman.
They don't know
Oh,
that
wow.
approach.
Now, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Because in their mindset, they think, I'm attracted to what's physical. I'm attracted to what I can see and touch. So I'm guessing that's what they're also attracted to. So I'm going to fix on what they can see and touch, which is my money, my cars, my houses, my
dress,
looks.
I see.
When women are different, I told you, we are equal, but we are not the same.
Right.
That is the fundamental issue we need to understand. Now, when it comes to women, I always pose a simple question I ask men. And it's a very easy but very, very difficult question. It's called the question of the diamond.
The question of the diamond. Okay.
Yes. And I ask men, why do you think most women are attracted to diamonds? And if you can answer that question, and this is the clue I'm going to give you, then you might never need to buy her a diamond again.
The problem is
Okay.
majority
Oh,
of them
I
will
know
not be
it.
able
I
to
know.
answer.
No, I
They will not
know.
get it.
Okay.
Now that's a pickup line for me.
So I ask them,
So okay,
Yes.
if I was to answer that, I'd
Yes.
probably say
Yes.
I'd probably say they're not.
why do you think they're attracted to the diamond? Or I said
Well,
attraction.
attraction. Why do you
Why
think
do
a
you think they're most
woman loves a
attracted
diamond?
to the diamond? Why would you give a woman a diamond?
Oh,
It's
you're
okay.
putting me on the spot.
There's no,
It doesn't matter.
there's no right or wrong answer.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think probably because historically we've been programmed to believe
Yes.
that this is, I guess, a sign
Yes.
of attraction or affection.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So maybe that's the reason why us as men see that as something that has to be done to signify
Yes.
attraction or connection.
Well, again, good answer, but you're thinking like a man.
Okay. Yes.
The
Think like a man, act
the
like a woman.
Yes.
question I asked you was, why is she attracted to the diamond? Not why you are attracted to what she thinks.
Because of the glitter, the shine.
Brilliant.
Now, I'll answer this for you.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with its physicality.
Okay.
Nothing at all. It's how it makes, it's what the diamond makes them feel. They can't explain it themselves. We have two beautiful women in the room today, but I
Yes,
can
yes.
tell you for sure.
Yes.
They cannot, they're not gonna, they can't explain it.
Right.
This is what I'm gonna say. It is what the diamond represents that they're attracted to.
Right.
And the
right.
first thing the diamond represents is confidence.
Oh.
It doesn't market itself. It knows its worth.
You will see it on my finger, you will know it.
It doesn't look for you. You look for it.
Hey, okay.
It's true. Think about it.
Number one. Number two, it's not an insecure mineral. It knows the gold is available, the ruby is available. It tells people, if you want to go and get it, go and get it. But I know there's a lot of people that want me. It's a sign of security. Three, it is hard to get. It's a challenge to get a diamond. If I was to challenge you to get any stone in a minute, you could do that. But if I asked you to do the same for a diamond, you wouldn't be able to.
And that's why people are conned.
Exactly. It's hard to get. And number four, it represents strength.
I see.
Not physical strength, mental strength. So under all that pressure, it doesn't crack. So basically, what did I just tell you? And this is where you will understand the role of the man. She is attracted to these four main characteristics: confidence, security, a challenge, and strength. And that is what she's attracted to. She's attracted to not the physicality of the diamond, but the personality of the diamond. And the reason why they're attracted to that is because naturally they don't have it.
Wow.
Women are attracted to what they don't have.
Right.
That's true.
Wow.
That is brilliant.
Would
know,
you say
right?
that is why sometimes we have women maybe getting a bit jealous?
Absolutely, that's your nature. I'm not worried if you're jealous.
Yes, yeah.
It's
Because
normal.
it comes from that.
Yes, that's your nature.
And when a woman or when a man takes up a different gender role
Yes.
because of circumstances,
Yes.
I understand that we were born in a particular way
Yes.
from the beginning,
Yes.
but because of circumstance, environment, time, etc.,
Absolutely.
we take up certain roles.
Yes.
Does it affect our masculinity or our femininity?
It does, because you see, when you do not represent the qualities of the diamond, and I told you the clue was you'll never buy her diamond again.
Yes.
And I said that is because if you become
The
the
diamond.
diamond, then she wouldn't need a diamond.
I see.
But half of them want to become sapphires.
But
Rocks.
most of us today want to be stones.
Right.
But you want to get a reaction of a diamond.
Right.
And you're a stone, Arnold. Can you
So
imagine?
no,
wouldn't say
no.
he's the-
Not him, I'm giving an example. Not him.
Yes, but someone who
Yes,
yes, I
yeah,
get what
yeah.
you mean. So ultimately, the role of a man is in understanding what women are attracted to, is embodying those qualities of a diamond.
Of the diamond.
That's
Right.
it.
I
Just
love
that.
it.
Imagine.
I love it.
Just
And
that.
that's why when you look at the ratio nowadays, men are way less than females.
That's true.
And even makes it more rare when you look at the men who are in service, for example. Men who are unfortunately in prison, the elderly, the young. Now, those that are eligible to have a partnership compared to the population of females, that makes us very rare. But we act like stones.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to pause you there for a second, and I want to ask you a question that we can answer when we come back, right?
Yes.
How do we, I know there's probably a lot of people who are listening to this and who
Yeah.
have grown up with the idea that as a woman, I am the prize, right? How do we then tackle
Women
that?
or men?
No, I'm saying there's a lot of women
Yes.
who have the
Women is
who have the
also for men.
ideology
Absolutely.
that I, as the woman, am the prize, and therefore a man should pursue me. So if he's believing he's the diamond
Yes.
and he's the rare one,
Yes.
how does that then play into gender roles? So we can touch on that
No worries.
as soon as we get back from this short
I don't
break.
like that question.
Ego believes she's a prize.
No, it's men who say they are the prize.
Well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Hold that thought. But do not touch that dial, ladies and gentlemen, because we have an amazing show lined up for you. We are getting into the conversation on understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. We have Bashir Mohamed in the building, who is a mindset coach who is filling us with all of this information. And I want you to take note. Get comfortable because we have a lot more of the show to come. Do not touch that dial. We are the adults in the room.
Spice.
We have Bashir Mohamed, who is a mindset coach, who's here to talk to us about understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. So if you are just joining us, you are exactly where you should be. We have an amazing show for you this evening. So I asked a question before we went on the break, which was, how do we then balance this idea? Because something that I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but something that I've noticed is naturally as men, we do the pursuing. If there's a woman we're interested in, if there's a woman we're attracted to, it is us who pursue. So by virtue of that, it essentially makes women the quote unquote prize, right? So then how do we then balance that out with men also needing to believe that they embody the qualities of a diamond, as you said before we were on
He
the
wants to
break?
be proposed to. He's pro women proposal. But just for the record, so, you don't argue with him on that.
I really like his vibe already.
Yes, how do we balance that?
Well, it's not about who's the prize. Let me start off with that because we complement each other. There is no significant sex than the other. This ideology of, oh, I don't need a man or a man doesn't need a woman, for me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. We weren't created with that kind of nature.
Right.
We were created to complement each other. And you're right, yes, our role is to pursue. But I want to make it very clear, as men, our role is not to chase. There's a difference.
Okay. Please do tell.
There's a difference between pursuing and chasing.
Please explain it.
Pursuing is when you initiate your interest to the female. And that's your role as a man. You need to initiate. And I think we discussed in
Yes.
our last conversation on,
Yes.
we did.
Yeah.
on who's to initiate. I still believe the man is to
And I
initiate.
agree
Yes.
and support you.
Right. But it's not our role to chase.
Okay.
In a woman's eyes, that devalues our role as a man.
Okay.
Now, when you feel like you need to continuously, oh, where are you? What are you doing? That's chasing. All right? What you up to? You know, that's chasing. Those are signs of weaknesses that she actually senses in a man.
Okay.
Women are not attracted to insecurity, number one.
Yes.
They're not attracted. They're attracted to an assured man,
Right.
a confident man. I'd ask a simple question to a man, for example. I'll say, listen, how would you ask a girl out on a date?
Right.
They don't understand it's a trick question.
Okay.
And they're like, I'm like, I even give them scenarios. I'm like, okay, Thursday night, dinner, and a movie, give me your pitch. And the first thing they say is, I'd go to her and I'd be like, hey, of course, this is after a conversation. Like, would you like to? I said, stop right there.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Why are you asking?
Yeah. Tell her.
You want to claim leadership? Yet you asking? Could you imagine if the captain of a plane asked the passengers, hey, would you want us to go to Australia?
Would you like us to land? Would you like us to land?
I'll be like, oh, I'm not ready for this flight.
Yeah, yeah. You don't sound too sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 95% of men will ask a woman out. It's different. I will tell her what my plan is. I already made a plan, with or without you. It didn't include you to begin with.
Bashir, no, you're being rude.
I'm not saying that. I want
A
you
woman
to.
would feel like this.
No.
Rude.
She wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's in your mind.
It's in my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
On Thursday, I have this Mexican restaurant I want to go to.
Yeah.
Right. I heard there's some amazing quesadillas there. I want to go and try it out on Thursday. I'm going to tell her, hey, I'm about to head out to this restaurant on Thursday. If you're free, come and join me.
I see.
Now, in most cases, she won't say no.
Of course.
The reason why she won't say no, you took the lead.
Exactly.
Because regardless of her answer, whether she's going to come or not, you were already going.
Going there.
She's gotten the impression already.
Exactly. But now you want to ask someone, and now their answer will depend on whether you're going to go or not.
Right.
You see the difference?
Yes.
Women want leaders. They don't want followers. Because she wants to follow.
Instinctually.
Yes. It's in her nature. And that's why I said earlier, when now the man starts playing the role of the female, where he's now the insecure one, he's the one asking, he doesn't know unconsciously that he's playing her role. He's surprised as to her reaction. Why is she reacting this way?
Because now she's taking lead.
Exactly. And no woman wants to take the lead. Naturally, she's forced to because of the situation.
Right, right.
And that's where the conflicts start arising from, is when the roles are then reversed. And again, you will have consequences for such decisions. That's why.
Now, let's assume in a family, we have a relationship that roles have been reversed. Maybe a
Yes.
man and a wife, they're in a relationship, a marriage.
Yes.
And because he's been the follower all the time, based on how he's asking things, based on how his leadership approach is.
Yes.
And the woman now has flipped the script.
Yes.
How would such a man change the narrative going forward? Now they have realized, I've been a follower for so long. I need to change the script. How can such a man, because I know there are many men who are more followers than leaders, but they think they're leaders.
Yes, you see, this is a very good question, Barbara. And this is something I always wanted to touch on, the issue of leadership. And this is where a lot of confusion has taken place. A lot of us in today's society are confusing power for leadership.
Okay.
You might be in a position of power, but that doesn't guarantee that you're a leader.
Yes.
There's a difference. And I ask people, what is then leadership? And it's simply, in my understanding, my humble understanding, if you are able to influence me, even in your absence, that's leadership.
Okay. If you're able to influence someone even in your absence.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, I'm a Muslim. There's 1.2 billion people following a man called Mohamed they have never seen. Till this very day. That's character. Because leadership is not defined by your position. Again, that's how you earn a living. Leadership is defined by your character to influence me to be convinced in your principles.
Right.
Women are looking to be influenced, not controlled. There's a difference.
Yes.
If you're going to force your woman to do this, and then you're in power, you're not going to get the same results as a leader. Yet we want to take leadership roles in the house. But we're not influencing our woman because do we have the character that is required to influence her. Then you won't have to be worried about what she's doing and what she's not doing. It's because your character is influencing her.
Right.
Whatever
She would
she
want
is.
to, exactly. She wants to do it willingly. There's a difference.
Are you able to give us maybe an example of how that might play out, like practically in a relationship, like a situation where a man can influence and empower as opposed to, let's say, controlling?
Absolutely. You see, you as a man, you have, for example, your own principles, your own beliefs. Now, sometimes women are very good testers. Let me not lie to you.
Hey, look, they would test you.
They would love to test you and see
Yeah.
how far you would fall off the wagon.
Yes, yes.
It's a good thing.
Of course.
Right.
See, again, it's good for them to test you because they want to make sure they're going to end up with a real man.
Yes.
It is their role to test. It's your job to pass those tests.
If you fail, you're in trouble.
If you fail, then it's on to the next. So, of course, you have principles. You got ideals. You got boundaries. She's going to see that from your character.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Over time. And then she'll be able to tell whether this is a man I can follow. It's all based on your character. Your upbringing is going to be important. And of course, nowadays, unfortunately, we have a lot of single parenting.
Yeah.
Now, I was married for 14 years. I'm not going to lie. Yes. But I make sure I love I don't call her my ex. She's family. I've known her for 16 years.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
She's the mother of my child. I have a lot of respect for her. And we do all the best that we can for our daughter. And we raise our daughter together. We're very cordial, very respectful to each other till this very day. Yesterday I was at the house. You know what I mean? It don't mean that we're not together. That's my role. She needs to see her father. I have to be there for that girl. A woman can't raise the child by herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of situations where the woman is raising the child by herself, what do you expect of the new generation to come?
Yes.
That we're seeing.
Further lack of misunderstanding. And that's what's causing this social downfall. People are now chasing, the money. They don't understand. You need to chase the character. The money will come itself.
Yes.
true.
Yes.
And without that character, then it doesn't matter how much money you have or what cars you drive, you will still get the same result of that of a stone rather than that of
The
a
diamond.
That's true. Yeah.
You see, so we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves when we're not understanding what is natural.
Yes. Yeah.
I know I used that word last time a lot of times, but
It's true though.
you have to, when something is natural, it happens naturally. Right? And when you do things unnaturally, of course, you get the results.
I like that. I like that. So we have a lot more of the show to come. Do not touch that dial. We are dropping gems of information on today's show as we discuss understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. We have Mr. Bashir Mohamed in the building, who is a mindset coach who is divulging all of this information. And I want you to make sure that you soak it all in. At this point, you should just do the pickup line of the day, I think.
I know, right?
I'm telling you.
You've got some knowledge. But in the meantime, don't touch that dial, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back in just a second. We are the adults in the room.
Spice.
The way you've shared about the mother of your child and raising and the role that you play, which got me thinking, in today's society, which is better in your opinion, or can we, or should we, okay, which is better, or should we not think about which is better, but both of them need to be in place? So, partnership versus gender roles. Do they go hand in hand, or should one supersede the other?
Well, I think what you're trying to say is what's the kind of nature of these two genders together?
Yes.
I'd like to say that I'm not a fan of relationships. I'm a fan of connections.
Okay.
There's a difference. How do you naturally connect? Right? A lot of us tend to connect with other sex based on a lot of misleading emotions. Right? For the man, it could be an attraction. It could be what he sees, what he likes.
Yeah.
But the question is, will you be able to connect with this other person? Will you be able to understand this person? And I'll give you 3 scenarios, for example. You will have a couple who goes, say, to a sunset. The idea is to go on a nice, beautiful sunset. And that's the date, for example. to watch a nice, beautiful sunset.
The sundowner.
Oh my goodness, there's an amazing place where the sunset, probably in Melbourne somewhere.
Yes. Where it's better than anywhere else in the world.
Absolutely. So let's say that's the plan. Okay. Now, two of these people go. And instead of now watching the sunset, one of them is so invested in the other, while the other one is watching the sunset. This is what we call a dependent relationship,
Okay.
where one is just focused on the other person, is admiring the other person. It could be the girl on the guy or the guy on the girl, while the other person is focused on the sunset. The second scenario would be where both of them, instead of watching the sunset, are so focused and lovey-dovey on themselves.
On each other.
We
yeah?
call this codependent relationship.
Okay.
Wow.
And the third one is where both of them actually engage the beauty of that sunset because they're not concerned about the other partner. They're not worried about the other partner being around. They're confident about their presence. That is what I call an interdependent relationship.
Right.
Almost 90% of situations that you find people in today are either going to be in a dependent or a codependent relationship.
Right.
And these don't last in the long run. It's those that are in an interdependent relationship where they have both understandings and their understanding is natural that survive in the long run.
Right.
And in order for you to put yourself in an interdependent relationship, you'll have to both know your roles naturally. And that's why you find a lot of challenges today
Right.
in relationships, and whether it's in marriages or otherwise. It's because 95% of them fall in either one of these two categories.
Right.
It's not natural for them to be in that relationship, but they keep themselves in that relationships because of misleading emotions.
Right. Right.
And that is the reason why you find a lot of these problems we have today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess in thinking about that, then how does one transition from, let's say, a codependent relationship to an interdependent relationship?
Yes. Well, first of all, like I said, women are reactive. So it has to begin with the man
Right.
to be proactive. And for him to be proactive, he needs to first understand himself. What's needed of him? What are his qualities that is required? What are the types of personalities that is a prerequisite for her reaction? You can't expect a reaction without an action. So he needs to first focus and look back at himself. Who am I? Do I have the qualities? Right? Because when I'm chasing women and, they say if you put a 50 men in a room and a beautiful woman walks past through,
Everyone will
how
keep quiet.
many looks? Almost 49 of them. Who do you think she wants? The one that didn't look. Because he's more focused on himself.
And she's interested in that.
You see what I mean?
I get you.
So you need to understand where you fit in the society. Are you leading or are you just following?
Yeah.
And most of them are following, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is this why we have so many men in our generation today who are so comfortable as an adult still living at home?
Well,
And when the woman that they are with is out there getting her own, wanting to get her own, but he's so comfortable not providing.
yes.
He's so comfortable still staying at home.
yes.
And when you answer that, is it still correlated with stay-at-home dads?
Well, you see, again, there goes another unnatural cohabitation of these sexes. Both genders are meant to build each other up. It's not a competition between the man and the woman.
Yeah.
The energy that I'm going to give her or how I'm going to influence her, I'm expecting a reaction that's going to build me up.
Yes.
That's why they always say behind every successful man is a
The beautiful
even-
woman.
strong
Even-
woman.
Strong
Strong
woman.
woman.
Because that's the nature of how you grow together. We've seen Barack.
Yes. In fact, that's a perfect example.
Yeah,
Very,
woman.
You
very.
understand? So it's not a competition. you should do this and I should do that. No, you should complement each other. And if you feel that you're not complementing each other, then there's something wrong with that relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Because both of you have played a role in it. If he's now comfortable being a stay-at-home daddy, that's because he's not providing those actions and influence to her that is actually motivating her to build him up.
I see what you mean.
So it's a case of both of them playing a role in what is
Certainly.
happening.
Both of them have to play this role.
Would you say that some of the reasons why we have mixed up gender roles will be brought about by our association or the way we were brought up,
Yes.
hence the confusion?
Absolutely. You know, like I said, times have changed. Situations have changed. Cultures have changed. And then you have different types of upbringing dynamics that have changed. You see a lot of single parenthood nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, it's either a father raising his own children or a mother raising her own children. In most cases, it's the mother that's raising the children.
Yes.
With no father figure. A woman can't be a father. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's not in her nature to be a father. She doesn't know how to treat or upbring children in a way, for example, that fathers can. She has a limit to how she can raise her children. The other half has to come from the man. Now, in the absence of that man or in the absence of that woman, now as a man, I can raise my children to a certain extent, but I also need her help
Yeah.
to some level of her involvement. And if I don't get that, that's going to influence the upbringing of the child.
I see.
And that's what we are faced with today. And that's why you have all these complications. And when we step back and we now go back to the basics of how it's naturally meant to be, then you'll realize most of what we are discussing become irrelevant because then it happens naturally.
Yes. Yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is definitely starting to take shape and
Yes.
it's starting to make sense about how we found ourselves in this position
Absolutely.
as a society.
Absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take another quick break in just a second, but I want to remind you that our phone lines are now officially open, which means you have an opportunity to give us a call and share your insights into the conversation. If you have a question for our guest or have some insights that you would like to share, the number to call is 0719 012 600. We're going to be answering them as soon as we cross over into the top of the hour. But in the meantime, do not touch that dial. We're going to be right back in a second. And of course, we're going to be sampling your views on our social media handles at SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back now.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up
Good
your
evening,
life.
ladies and gentlemen. It is exactly 9 p.m. on the 23rd of February. It is a Wednesday. And as Korigo had pointed out earlier, I had forgotten to wish you ladies a happy WCW.
Fine.
So I want to make sure.
Fine. Fine.
The people who wished us on the WhatsApp.
Fine. And I reminded him in the first hour.
Yes, it's
at
true.
7.
It's true. I'm not gonna lie, it did slip my
Fine.
mind. But you know, the gears are warming up now, so
You
we're
know
back
my
in action.
poison.
We're back
Fine.
in action. Don't worry. But now, Barbara mentioned something about our WhatsApp, which means yes, we want to tell you that we have an active WhatsApp now, which means that you can actually reach us in a whole new way. Please, Barbara, tell us.
Yes, and I'm seeing some people telling me, check your phone, check your phone. I'm checking. Don't worry, it's the conversation that is good. Please send in your messages, your comments, your questions to Bashir on 01102 88162. 01102 88162. Please remember, this is only a WhatsApp line, and the number to call is 0719 012 600. Bashir, I have a question for you. So, as a man, there's other things. He's welcomed you back, said hello, but let me go with the question.
Yes.
So, as a man, Bashir, I don't have to overdo things. I just have to prove myself to a woman.
You never prove yourself to a woman in the first place.
It's him to prove himself to himself.
Yes. I said earlier, the best way to impress her is never to impress her at all. You see, because the hardest thing...
But you're making these people confused. Don't forget to
No, trust me. And sometimes I don't listen to what they say.
Right.
We are logical human beings as men.
Yes.
But understand women are also emotional human beings as well.
Yes.
Back to that question, you don't need to prove yourself. And I always say confidence doesn't need to prove itself. And that's why the issue of the diamond I raised earlier is that confidence doesn't prove itself, doesn't market itself. it knows its worth.
Yes.
So you need to go back and understand what your worth is. Gain back that value in yourself. All right? And remember, your job is to pursue, not to chase. All right? So when you understand that, you'll understand that you have a role to play that's valuable just as equally as hers. Right? And that you know that you are different. You are not the same. So this mindset of I need her, or, that already shows that I need to do this for her, I need to do that for her. You're already coming out of your natural element.
Right. So I think for the sake of clarity, because I know there's probably some people listening who might be thinking, okay, if I need to know my worth, does that then mean that I should be like, you know what, it doesn't matter what these women think, I am my own man and I can stand on my own 2 feet? I think a lot of people might interpret it that way, but I think for the sake of practicality, how would we I guess summarize it in terms of really what it means to know your worth as a man, and not to confuse that with saying that I'm therefore better than a woman because I know my worth.
Absolutely. You see, one of the hardest things for men to do, or for most people to do, but in this situation, men, the hardest thing for them to do is to be themselves.
Right.
We always hear that.
Yeah. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Trust me, it's one of the hardest things that they can do. Now with social media and God knows the gram and people with I'm too old school, TikTok and I don't know what not, and YouTube channels and lifestyles and my Lord have mercy, and God knows, I swear I don't even know how to do it. My little one knows how to use TikTok. I don't even know.
Yes.
None of most of these social, how they work.
I love it.
And you know, there's a lot of influence from these media.
Yeah.
You know, to this is what I want in life.
Yes.
Like, you ask men, what do you want to be when you grow up? How many will say I want to leave a legacy?
Very few.
Very few. That tells you how many leaders we have.
Wow.
Everybody's chasing the money. Most the youth today want to chase the money. But guess what? They don't understand that to create wealth, you need to have an ability to solve problems.
That's true.
The money comes itself.
Yeah.
Well, that's another discussion for another day. But you see, that's the mindset that they have, which is unfortunate today. And how do you then expect that to attract the opposite sex?
I get you.
In a natural way. So we need to start changing that mindset. And now start coming back to actually realizing yourself, who you are. What's your purpose? Do you have a purpose? Be dignified in that purpose. It doesn't matter what it is. You see, a woman never left you because you were broke. She left you because of how you reacted after you got broke.
I see. Hey, okay. Hey, you heard those remarks from each of these ladies.
Exactly.
Timing.
Actually, you didn't have confidence in yourself, in your brokenness.
Absolutely. You know, that's
Have
why.
you ever met a broke confidence
why you
man?
leave.
They're so attractive and funny.
It's
Absolutely.
true.
Keep yourself.
Yes.
It don't matter if you lose a few pounds
Yes.
or a few dollars.
Yeah.
That's not why she left.
Yeah.
She left because you started losing confidence. Why do you think a lot of men are chasing the money today? It is not because that they are confident that these ladies are with them. It's what the money is doing to their confidence.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
It's massaging their
You
ego.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they get the confidence. I always tell them, okay, give me your wallet. Remove all that money. I'm going to give you 1,000 shillings for 1 week. Let's see how you get your confidence.
He won't have it.
He doesn't have it. All of a sudden, the man with all the money. So he depends on that boost from the money to build his confidence. But without it, what happens? Our grandfathers lived in huts, but they had the most beautiful women.
That's true.
How did they keep them? They didn't
Some
have
of
all
them
that
not
money.
more than one woman.
Exactly. We have space for 4.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, it's that confidence. And then you have this another issue that most people try to shy away from. For example, I know there's a cultural and religious thing to it. For example, men, we are polygamous by nature. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's a fact. This is our nature.
Yes.
Right? Now, the difference is women don't leave you because, you're with another woman. No, they leave you because you cheated. But if you're bold enough as a man to play your role and say, listen, the way I care for you, all right, it's in my nature to care for more than one. I'll
And it's not gonna
I'll
change.
let you know.
Yes.
I'll let you know you're not going to be the only one.
Yes, yes.
I'll have
yes.
the confidence to tell you that.
Yes.
Right? And that is the difference. They leave you because not because they don't want to be a second wife or third wife or whatnot. They left you because you cheated.
Right.
That's And you true. Don't have the
and
guts
there
or
wasn't
the
that
You didn't have the
clarity.
confidence to tell them the
It's
truth.
true.
All right.
Liar.
I do come from a polygamous family. He's got 3. At one point, 2 of them were in the kitchen at the same time, chilling
Right.
and having conversations.
Right.
I looked at him and like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
So just be honest and be faithful.
Yes.
So you got to play your role naturally.
Yeah.
And everything comes up naturally. Even the reaction from them comes up naturally.
Right.
You don't have to worry and stress yourself and, do things that are out of the ordinary. Believe in yourself. And I really mean that by starting with the small things that matter.
Right.
Start focusing on the small things
Yeah. Yeah.
that actually matter. And that is your character. Start with your character, your personality, your integrity, your belief. There's no shame in what you do. You could clean the streets, but be dignified and confident cleaning the streets.
I see.
Bashir, what has been the role of the anti-voices in our society in terms of the progress and the failures of the gender roles that are within ourselves?
Maybe if you could clarify what anti-voices is.
We have these people. Let me give you an example. In
Yes.
fact, we have some people who call in.
Yes.
We could have a conversation, and they would tell you, "For me, I believe a woman should do X, Y, Z."
Yes.
Those
yes,
are the,
yes.
and the anti-voices that we have. So
Right.
even when you're having a conversation, because we see it on our timelines, what they perceive a woman should be or not be.
yes, yes.
An example of yesterday, someone was very categorical of his thoughts of how a woman should dress at a certain place at a certain time. Another one would say, when I date a woman and it's on Friday, I'm inviting them at my house, the pile of clothes that are there,
Yes.
she's my girlfriend. She's supposed to clean it before she goes back, and she's just come for a weekend. Yet this is a grown man you're just dating. So I feel what has been that role of those anti-voices in terms of our failure of our progress? Because I feel it has also boosted in terms of feminisms. People are saying, I can't do this, I cannot do this. And I think it's chasing us away from our exact roles that were subscribed to us by nature.
Well, to answer that, of course, that comes from a place of lack of understanding. Those anti-voices that we're talking about, they just don't understand how it naturally works. When you tell a woman she needs to do this, she needs to do that, you need to influence her to do it. You can't force a woman to do anything. So would you rather have her do it in front of you, and in your absence, she's going to do otherwise?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So just because to get your ego struck, she does it in front of you, all of a sudden you think now you're leading the house. What happens in your absence? I told you a leader is able to influence you even in his absence. And you should be able to willingly do what you want to do because you've been influenced by him. Not because you've been forced by him.
That's a very interesting thing, because I remember having a friend of mine say to me, she's a very independent woman in the way in which we know it as a society, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she says to me, even in my independence, I naturally fall into certain actions or certain ways of behaving
Yes.
when I'm with somebody who knows their role and is confident enough in who they are to play it.
Absolutely.
And I found that really interesting, because it kind of speaks to that duality of I can still be very independent as a woman,
Yes.
but I also fall into certain like habitual things
Naturally.
like naturally when I'm with someone who's confident in who they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She will play her role naturally.
Yeah. But question.
Yes.
And okay. Yeah. You see what Arnold has said?
Yes.
More often than not, it's usually interpreted as submission. Is that submission? Because we find ourselves as women,
Yes.
I personally as a woman, whereby I'm like, if you're not leading, I can't lead.
Of course.
I know what you should be doing, but I can't tell you what to do. It should be coming automatic to you the way it's coming automatic for me to imagine you need to be doing it.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
then he'll then go back and say, Karigo is not submissive. Karigo, she's hard-headed. She's too independent. She needs to tone down.
These are also connotations of misunderstanding. This issue of submission also frustrates me a lot. We only submit to God,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
right? for a woman, for a man to say that she needs to submit to me, he needs to reevaluate his mindset.
Okay.
He really does.
You've just
Because he's not
people's
leading.
toes.
He's not leading.
That's it's true. He's not.
He is not leading that situation. Because trust me, she might want to do it in front of you. No, not she might want to. She will do it in front of you. You need to question yourself whether she'll do it when you in your absence.
Yeah.
Because you forced her.
Yeah.
You understand there's a natural way of doing things. She's following your character. You need to create a character. Or you need to be that character that she will willingly follow. Now, it is not her duty to cook for you. She's doing it out of her willingness and love for you.
Right.
And how much you influencing her to do it. When she cooks me that food, or when she cleans my clothes for me, when she willingly, cleans the house for me in my absence, for example. She's not doing it by force. She's doing it willingly because I've influenced her to do it. I didn't force her to.
Yeah.
I didn't control
Sometimes
it.
you didn't even ask for her.
I didn't even ask her to.
So
Yeah.
those who ask, there's a problem.
Of course there is. You're coming from a place of lack. You don't even have that kind of mindset. You have a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset.
Talk about it.
And
We're having that conversation.
Yeah.
that's coming from a mindset of lack. When
Yeah.
you feel the need to control, when you feel the need to, that means you're lacking. You're lacking in personality. You need to have a personality check. You need to go back home and think about what kind of personality you have. So, again, you need to make sure that you have the right qualities in a man to influence a woman to do what she willingly would want to do for you. And again, you are complementing each other. It's not a competition. It's not a hierarchy. Yes, you have a leadership role, but remember, she has other roles too.
Yeah.
But yours as a man, one of them is leadership. Lead. Stop controlling.
I see. So I guess when we come back from this break, I'd like to get your opinion on this idea of, there's some men out there and we all have different personalities. We're all
Yes,
from different
yes.
walks of life. Maybe certain experiences have shaped us in different ways. And some people might be more leadership inclined
Yes.
as opposed to other men. And there's many factors that will influence that.
Yes.
But for those who might be listening and might be thinking, whatever their perception of what leadership is, they might be saying, well, I don't know if I fit the bill of what a typical leader should look like. How does a man like that then find his own sense of leadership, and how does he then determine that? So I think we can get into that as soon as we get back from this short break. Ladies and gentlemen, do not touch that dial. We are the adults in the room. I want to remind you that our phone lines are officially open, which means you have an opportunity to give us a call and share your insights into the conversation. If you have a question for our guest, Mr. Bashir, now is your chance to call because our lines are officially open. The number to call is 0719-012-600. And we also have another number that you have to take note of, which is our WhatsApp number, which means if you don't have social media and you don't feel too confident giving us a call, you can actually now text us on WhatsApp. And I'd love to hear that number, Barbara.
The WhatsApp line is 01102 88162 01102 88162. Brian, I see you. Someone called Kevin from Kisumu. The rest of you just are sending anonymous, but it is okay. I've seen the questions. We shall channel them to Mr. Bashir.
Yes, most definitely. And be sure when you message us, let us know what your name is so we know who we are referencing and we can make sure that we give you the attention that your question needs. But in the meantime, do not touch that dial. We're going to be right back in just a minute. We are the adults in the room.
Spice.
A conversation on understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships with Mr. Bashir Mohamed, who is a mindset coach who's here to inform us on how we can all do better to understand one another as men and women and have healthier, happier relationships. So before we get back into the questions, I'd love to see what the WhatsApp is saying.
The WhatsApps, I have so many questions, so I'm going to take it one at a time. Please remember you can WhatsApp your questions, your comments, and of course join the fan club on our WhatsApp line 01102 88162. That is 01102 88162. Just say adults, SpiceFM, save that number. And also remember, we are picking up your calls 0719-012-600. There's a gentleman who's asking, Bashir, how can I influence my partner? And he's even put emojis. I've seen other questions. I've really felt he's really put 6 emojis, like seriously. And okay, answer that, then we take other questions, and I'll be picking other questions. So we can balance
we
it out.
can balance it out. Not a problem
Yes.
at all. Yes.
The person asking a question, male or female?
Female partner, because you said who is influencing the man.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't put a name.
Oh, it's
or
a he, huh?
or he. So I'm assuming you said the male people,
Ye-
the males should be influencing.
Yes, so he's asking the question on how he can influence her.
Yes.
First of all, he needs to first to ask himself, what kind of an understanding does he have with his partner? So he needs to actually evaluate what his intention is with his partner. And once he's established that, he can then now try to look back into himself and ask himself, is he honestly and sincerely in a comfortable position with his partner? If he feels that there's a lot of pretense available and there's a lot of unnatural behavior towards his partner,
Yeah.
then immediately you can tell that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that relationship.
Right.
And when he's forcing issues, or if he's trying to, because it's supposed to come in naturally. And that can't happen unless he really goes back and focuses on himself
Right. Right.
and takes a very an honest, hard look at himself and tell him, who am I? Will she actually accept me if I'm this way? So he needs to be himself first before he can influence her. You see, I'm already gathering he's already concerned about her than he is about himself.
I see.
And this is the problem. She wants you to be in control of yourself. She'll naturally ride along. But if you're more convinced about how I'm going to influence her, then already that is the mindset that needs to change.
Yeah.
It's not about you influencing her. It's about your character that will naturally influence her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're more concerned about how you're going to influence her,
Yeah.
then you need to already change that kind of mindset.
I do understand that, because I think in many ways it sort of implies that I need to find a way to convince her to do what I need her to do.
Yes.
As opposed to saying, let me work on myself and let me understand myself better. Let me build my character
Yeah.
such that by virtue of doing that, she will follow.
She will follow. Absolutely.
You know, I keep thinking about this, and we're having a conversation during the break with a gentleman there.
Yes.
And he was like, you know, the truth of the matter is, and Arnold, I know you'll agree, men know what Bashir is saying. It's there, like the whole submission, which we've said we are not using anymore. It's the natural effect that a woman takes to, you know, it's natural once he leads. As long as he's not leading, then, you know.
Yes.
But then men know they need to lead. You know, as a man, you need to lead. You know that, right? But why is it that men don't hold each other accountable and don't call each other out? Especially when it comes to raising kids and how they are to their spouse, girlfriend, or woman in the house. But I come and see it from a place where you have a boy, your boys, but he's an irresponsible dad. He's not present. But then his friend is a leader. He has those characteristics and he has a good marriage. Why is there always this disconnect with the men? Is it that they don't call each other out, or do they enable each other too much?
Well, that's a good question. You know, I know women a lot are very well connected. They look out for each other.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
we do.
They actually go to the bathroom together.
That's true. could you imagine two men being like, I'm going to the bathroom. Yeah, I'll go with
Let's
you."
go, you know,
Yeah.
let's go to the bathroom.
We have to tell you want to go. You have to take
A big conference takes place in that washroom.
It's true. It's very true.
Whereas men, it's not in our nature to do that.
Yes.
We are soul hunters by nature. All right. The time we come together and assist each other is maybe in times of defense.
Right.
When we need to defend a nation, when we need to defend a society, we come together. That's why you find the military has mostly male populated than females. Now, when it comes to holding each other accountable, that's what I'm actually here for.
Right. Yes.
And to get this myth out the way.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of these so-called relationship experts you find on YouTube channels and oh, I'm this coach, I'm that coach. They don't identify the root cause of the problem.
Right.
They're here to point fingers. She's materialistic. She's like that. She's like that.
Narcissist.
Narcissist. I don't know where these terms came from, to be honest. I'm very new to these terms. Toxic.
Yes.
That's a favorite.
These are the words that have come up in the 2020s. Toxicity.
Yes.
You know, energy.
Yes.
And frequency. And I'm like, I'm like, are we human beings nowadays? Or are we robots? What's going on? I'm like, where do these words come from? You know, I'm like, he's not giving me the energy.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the frequency. I'm like, are you a radio channel?
She doesn't get a frequency.
It's true.
Toxicity. I'm like, are we talking about acid? What are we
What?
talking about?
Exactly.
Poison? What are we talking about? You know, this thing is toxic for me. I know. And then she's, I don't know, slay. I'm like, queen. I'm like, how do you even put those two words together? You know?
Yes.
That's an oxymoron, you know?
Yes.
They're like, oh, he's a slay king. I'm like, oh, we've joined the group also.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of these funny terms that are, this is the gender wars.
Yes.
You know, that's what you hear. Oh, if she does that, you know what? Go on, no contact. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Yes.
You know, no, go focus on yourself. Go back to nature. It will all fall in place.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you don't have to discuss it with other men. You know what I mean? Like, we are, when you say, oh, you're your brother's keeper, what does that mean?
Okay.
Because if I don't do this today, it's going to affect me because I live in this environment. I'm going to be dealing with a lot of people who are ignorant in the subject or in life. And if I don't share, all right, what I understand about it, then I'm a part of the society.
Yeah.
My daughter is going to be a part of the society. She tomorrow will be looking for a real man in her life.
Yes.
I'm trying to build those men for her now.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build them now because these are the potential
Exactly.
men who will be, you know, who will marry my daughter.
Exactly. And how do I do that is because I treat her. You know, people use words princesses and whatnot and queens. She's my blood. She's a lady. You know, it's different than how I'll bring up a boy.
Yes.
Because tomorrow then I won't be concerned about who she's going to look for because definitely most women will look for father-like figures in their men. And it depends now on that father figure. I'm trying to work on that father figure, that leader,
Yeah.
right? They are not obstacles and investments that people call them. You don't call your child an investment. You call stocks and bonds investments. This is your future that you are bringing in tomorrow. And that's what you need to understand. So when you understand, then you will actually act accordingly.
I see.
So until we understand, only then will we act accordingly, and that's how we'll get the results that we look for. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. We have a lot more of the show to go, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the questions coming in via our WhatsApp number. Please, Barbara, remind us of that number
I'm
again.
telling you, someone has told me, Barbara Yawa, you're not seeing my message. I have seen, my darlings, I have seen. Just give us time. We're going to read them and we're going to have Bashir answer them. 01102888162 01102888162. That's our WhatsApp line. We have not forgotten you for those who are on our socials. That is SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Tina. Tina is asking, where are the diamonds? Where are the leaders?
Yes, yes. Now's your time to voice your concerns. Now's your time to say what you need to say to remind them of who you are. Keep the questions and the comments coming in via our social media handles at SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, our new and active WhatsApp line. We are live, we are on there, and we are seeing your comments come through, and we're going to be sampling them as the show goes on. But in the meantime, do not touch that dial. We're going to be right back in just a second. We are the adults in the room.
Spice.
talking about understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. So make sure that you tune in. Make sure that you send your comments coming through on our social media handles at SpiceFM KA on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you are just joining us, we have a live WhatsApp, which means that if you don't have social media or you don't feel too confident in giving us a call, you can actually message us on WhatsApp now, and we will see your comments. Please give us that number
And
again.
you don't need to give me your name. This is the place where I allow you to be anonymous.
That's
Remember,
true.
it is 01102888162. 01102888162. There's a gentleman, I think a gentleman from Nakuru. He says, does confidence involve some type of ignoring? Then he puts it in quotes, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. How does one engage then or pursue without actually chasing? He wants clarity on that.
Okay. Well, when we discuss pursuing, of course, it does take a lot of confidence to do that. There's a difference between being arrogant and being confident. There's a very thin line
Yes.
between being arrogant and being confident. When you pursue, it requires confidence, your ability to approach, your ability to... And I always say, one way of doing it is don't use pickup lines.
Please, is that Bashir Mohamed, please do you want to repeat that? Because this needs to be said in the adults in the room. You said men should not use what?
Actually, the best pickup line you could use
Yeah.
is act like you already know her.
Okay.
Haven't I been saying this?
Act like you already know her.
And people don't believe me in this studio.
Yeah, you have to act like you already know her.
Right.
Bashir, I like you.
You pick things on her
Right.
that you might use to tease her with. That's confidence.
Right.
Now you don't go there and ask questions. This is
Answer
one of the
questions.
biggest challenges we have. They go up to them and want to ask questions. Hey, how are you?
And want to become a joke.
Hi, my name is this. What do you do? Is this an interview? This is not an interview. You're supposed to have a conversation.
Right.
Now, when you learn how to have a conversation, you know, you might be like, I go up to them like, wow, this rain is not going to stop today, is it? I already know you.
Yes.
I already get you comfortable.
And that's very attractive.
You see what
honestly.
I'm saying?
It
And
is.
I don't need to come and ask you questions that you don't need to hear.
Yeah.
So these are things that she will see as being confident. Now, when you're ignoring, why are you ignoring in the first place? What are you ignoring? What's the context for you to ignore? Do you think by you just being a statue in front of her, ignoring her? No, what you need to do is be paying more attention to yourself.
Right.
Because they can actually see and read through you, whether you're ignoring or not.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But they can actually know if you're actually busy doing something about yourself. Now, I told you initially, when she's interested, of course, she'll give you signals.
Yes.
You read those signals and then you make the
Act
approach.
upon them.
Exactly. And how you're going to act is basically the way I've just explained it, is through that confidence. Act like you already know her. That makes it a bit easier. Sometimes be attentive, see some things. You know, she could be wearing a zebra
Outfit.
outfit, and I'm like, wow, the national park must have been looking good today.
And you get in trouble, you get a lot of trouble.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, because she's not gonna like it, but then she'll be like, wow.
Yes. It's
You know,
unique.
exactly. You know,
Yeah.
so you find what suits you.
Yes.
You know, just be creative.
Yes.
You know, but don't come up with questions. You know, questions don't go well, like I say. You know, so those are the natural things that they're looking for, and you have to understand the natural premise. Remember, they're looking for confidence because most of them really don't have it.
Right. Right. You mean in terms of women?
The female, now.
Right.
So that's why she wants assurance from you. And I'll give you a very simple issue about. This is one thing I really need to tell men when it comes to problem solving for women. I know there's a lot of men who say, "Oh, I have stress. She comes with a lot of problems. How do
Yeah.
I handle it?"
Yeah.
That is very, very important. Now, I told you in the beginning we are equal, but we are not
The same.
the same. Now, even in addressing problems, it could be the same identical problem. She will call you in the middle of the night, for example, "Oh my goodness, my tire punctured and I'm stuck here at Thika Road. Baby, what should I do?" Now, you see, you need to understand as a man, when we have a problem, we look for what we call a technical solution.
Right.
Now, unless you come up with a technical solution, and this is for the women, they need to know this. If you don't have a technical solution for your man's problem, keep quiet.
Yes.
Be
Let's
silent.
just listen.
Talk about it.
Be silent. Don't add anything as in, baby, it'll be fine. That is not a technical solution. They're not looking for that. They're looking for a technical solution. Now imagine she has a problem now. She's stuck in Thika Road and blah, blah, blah. She's got a problem. Oh, my baby. I'm going to... And what do? You want to give her a technical solution.
Right.
Guess what's going to happen? Or you're going to have a bigger problem when you get home.
Yes. Yes.
You know, be like, oh, so baby, let me call someone who's going to come to you and probably fix it. That's a technical solution.
Yeah.
They're not looking for a technical solution. You know why? Because 99% of women have a way better technical solution
Then
than
you
you
do.
have.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What they're looking for is assurance. They panic. They need that confidence from you to say, baby, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry, don't panic. What's the problem? Talk to me. Is that where you are? It's okay. Now, it's okay, and baby, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. It's not a technical solution. But guess what? It calms them down.
Yes.
And they will find their own solutions for themselves. Now, tell me, men, how hard is it for any problem that a woman brings to you for you to provide them sincere assurance
Right.
and tell them,
We want
baby,
to solve issues sometimes.
why you want to solve it for them?
Yeah.
Who asked you to solve it for them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another issue of playing roles. Do you understand that? It's so easy for me to solve
So we
women's
need
problems.
to understand your role that is technical. Ours is more of comforting and securing.
It's emotional. It's assurance. They
Feed
just
my
want,
emotion.
oh my goodness, I want to be safe.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
guess what? When you get them safe, your job is to get them in a position of safety, assurance. Don't give them the solution, technical solution, because they have way better technical solutions than you do.
Yeah.
They've already called a guy, a person
Oh,
who knows a friend,
definitely.
and the person is on the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one thing I think I forgot to mention, but that's very key in what's happening today.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Problems do not know how to be solved
Between the two genders.
between the two genders.
So in this case, this scenario, I have a puncture on Thika Road. I've called my man, and I am stuck. I'm stuck.
You panicked, yes.
I've panicked. Which gender role? Okay, what is the man's role with his gender moving forward?
Well,
Should he be organizing for me somebody to come rescue me as he gives me the assurance?
No, that's a technical solution.
He's supposed to give you emotion.
Yes. I'm supposed to calm you down and let you know that
But I,
everything's going to be fine.
I still have a
Yes,
flat
you
And
still
you
do.
can solve
Yes,
it
you still
yourself.
do. And sometimes I can even say, don't worry, baby, I'll be there.
There you go.
Now, I might not have to solve it right there.
Yeah.
And sometimes before I get there, you might have already solved your problem.
But yeah, by the time you get there.
But I'm showing that I care,
Yeah.
and that's my role.
Yeah.
Now, you come to me at home, for example, with a different issue, and, oh, you know, I work, this has happened, that happened. I'll have to listen to you. As a man, that's my role. I have to understand your situation. But I can't go and technically tell you what to do at work.
So you just stop talking to that person, or you just
And that's
just
why we
quit.
have
You
a
be-
problem.
Yeah,
Why are
you
you
know.
telling me that? I didn't ask for that.
Right, right.
Don't
hear
tell
me
them,
out.
just hear her out.
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
to her and tell her, give her a hug. And tell her, baby, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Because trust me, when you sleep, in 10 minutes' time, she's already figured out the solution.
Of
Right.
course.
Yeah.
While you're here mind-boggling yourself to find a solution
For her, yeah.
no one asked you for. So again, don't look for technical solutions for the women. And women, don't look for emotional solutions for men. Give them technical solutions. And that's the natural way to go about it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You are getting gems of information here, ladies and gentlemen, on today's show. If you are just joining us and you've just caught the last bit of Mr. Bashir's sentence, I guarantee you there is a lot more to come. Unfortunately, you have missed out on a little bit, but there is still a lot more of the show to come. Today, we're having a conversation on understanding the nature of gender roles in relationships. And we want to hear from you. Jump on our social media handles at SpiceFM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're sampling your views across all of our social media platforms. So join in on the conversation. As soon as we get back, we've got a lot more of the show. But in the meantime, we've got some Mariah Carey to keep you company. Don't touch that dial, ladies and gentlemen. We are the adults in the room.
Spice.
A very special guest in the building, Mr. Bashir Mohamed, who is here talking to us about the nature of gender roles in relationships. And I know there's a few questions that have come through on our WhatsApp that we would love to get into. Are you seeing anything interesting,
Yes,
Barbara?
please remember to save this number. I'll also remind you tomorrow, 010-011-02-88162. That is 011-02-88162. And also remember our calling number is 071 0719 012 600.
Yes.
We have a gentleman from Kisumu who's asking, Bashir, where do I categorize women who allow house girls to handle all their chores and duties? Does it mean it's the husband who has failed to lead the woman from the beginning of the relationship? Anti-voices. Anti-voices. Remember I talked about anti-voices?
Oh, I know. And he's going to think I'm against him now. Man, I'm on his side, but with that kind of mentality now, it's going to be difficult for him to understand that it all starts with him. It all starts with him. How he influences that household. And again, house chores, again, are not a mandatory duty. It's actually a duty by both of them.
Exactly.
Both individuals. And you can call me lack of a man, whatever you want to call it. But it is a fact of reality. I'd rather influence my woman, to do these things that she willingly wants to do than force her. Now, you didn't marry an employee.
Yes, or a maid or
a maid.
A cook.
So when you say, why is she not doing this, why she's not doing that, who did you marry? Did you marry your partner? Did you marry a partner that you complement each other with? Or did you marry an employee? Did you hire her or did you marry her?
That's a good point.
That's it, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You didn't hire her. You married her.
Yeah.
So if you married her, then play your roles together. And you won't have to go through these issues that you are discussing right now. Now, you have a tendency of blaming by saying, why is she not doing this and that? They say when you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers point at you.
Yes. Point back at you.
Focus. Go back to yourself. You want to lead, then take the role of a leader. I'm not here trying to favor a different gender. But you want to claim leadership, then act like one. Behave like one. Be one. Right?
And I think I understand what you're saying, because I think in many ways, even going back to this idea of chores and roles in the house of men and women.
Quite a lot.
So I think ultimately, if you as a guy, let's say, take pride in your space, you take pride in your appearance, you take pride in how your house, how your household looks.
Absolutely.
By virtue of that, you're leaning more into yourself, and you're saying, I'm doing this because this is what I value as an individual. This is how I like my space to look and to feel. And by virtue of doing that, any woman that's in your space will naturally honor that and find themselves stepping into that role. And I think that's the misconception that I've seen a lot in our society. I think, and I'm going to speak specifically for a man, and I know there's things that women could also be doing differently, but I think as a man, something that I see is there's not enough of us who take pride in what we value in our lives.
Exactly.
We say that we want someone who's going to cook and clean, but then we don't even know how to cook and clean for ourselves. And then we expect someone to be able to come in and do that, and that's a sign of the role of a woman, or that's a sign of the marriageability of a woman. And that, I think that in many ways that needs to change.
We have a moment for another question from?
Yes.
And what happens, Bashir, when a guy gets so comfortable in a relationship that he forgets his role as a man, that you as a woman start initiating a conversation while he's just doing nothing and you take up certain roles?
That tells me that relationship, someone is losing interest, and losing interest quick.
Right. Why do you say that?
You see, again, understanding is key. Sometimes, again, the woman will also naturally fall for someone she can't have. For instance. Right? Here's the thing. Exactly. Now, I'll give you a quick one, and why I always talked about the diamond. And I'll tell you the importance of the diamond. In the diamond, you will find 2 types of men. And people will all ask me, women, girls love bad boys but end up marrying nice guys.
Right.
That's also not true. It is not true. In the nice boy or the bad boy, you will find equal characteristics that when combined make the diamond.
Right.
Yes.
Now, in the bad boy, you will have the qualities of confidence. Hard to get because he's always chased. But guess what? Most of the time, the bad boy has got no ambition
Yep.
in life and has got no goal and plan for his future. The nice boy, as what they call them, the nice boy, you know, he's got a vision, he's got security, he knows where he's going. But guess what? Sometimes he's
lacks
boring as hell.
But
Can't
he's
hold a
safe.
conversation, but he's safe.
He's very
But you
safe.
see what happens when a girl becomes a woman. Her priorities change. Now, her priorities initially doesn't mean that she doesn't want to end up with this man. He's not a diamond, but every girl would end up marrying a diamond and not waste her time.
Yes.
But you see, the problem is she's forced to live with a bad boy because she gets all the pleasures from this bad boy, and then ends up requiring security because that's where her priorities change, and ends up the nice guy because
Leaves the
of
bad boy for the
leave the
nice
bad
guy.
boy for the nice guy because now there's security and vision. The diamond has both.
Yes.
You are meant to have that confidence as the bad boy. You are meant to be that hard to get person. Not she's hard to get. She wants someone that's hard to get. So when you hear, oh my goodness, she's playing hard to get, then remember you're the stone.
Hey, yeah, you're playing the wrong role.
There are
You're playing the
several
wrong
stones
role.
out here.
You understand what I'm saying? You should be the one who's hard to get. She should find you a challenge to get you because you're on your purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
You see? So when she finds the diamond, what makes you think she's going to wait too long? She won't,
That makes sense.
because diamonds are rare.
Yes.
So I'd rather get it now
yes, then wait.
than hope for it later. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, firstly, I want to thank you so much for making time to come in and have this conversation with us.
you're welcome.
A very, very much needed conversation, and we really appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned something new from the conversation that we've just had with Mr. Bashir Mohamed. Now,
Spice FM.